Anthony Bridgerton was never supposed to be the head of the family. He was 8 years old when his father died. One moment he was a child, the next he was responsible for 7 siblings, a grieving mother, an entire estate, and nobody asked if he was ready. Because eldest sons don't get to be ready. They just have to be strong. And that's how Anthony lost his childhood. Not when his father died, but when everyone expected him to replace him. Let me explain. When Edmund Bridgerton died from a bee sting, Anthony watched it happen. He saw his father collapse, struggle to breathe, die in minutes. And that trauma imprinted on Anthony's brain. Death is sudden, unpredictable, inevitable. And it's coming for him too. This is called Thanatophobia, an obsessive fear of death. But it's not just about dying. It's about dying young, like his father, leaving his family unprotected, failing the people who depend on him. And that fear controls everything Anthony does, because he's not living, he's preparing to die. Now let's talk about parentification. It's when a child is forced to take on adult responsibilities before they're developmentally ready. And Anthony? He became a parent at 8 years old. His mother Violet was drowning in grief. She couldn't function. Couldn't make decisions. So Anthony stepped up. He managed the estate, he made financial decisions, he became the father to his siblings. And everyone praised him for it. What a responsible young man, so mature for his age. But that's not maturity, that's survival. Anthony didn't choose to grow up fast. He had to. Because if he didn't, the family would fall apart. And a child shouldn't carry that weight. But Anthony did. For decades. And it destroyed him. By the time we meet Anthony in season 1, he's completely shut down emotionally. He has a mistress, Sienna, but he won't commit to her. He arranges marriages for his siblings, but won't marry for love himself. He's cold, controlling, rigid, and everyone thinks he's just an uptight aristocrat. But he's not uptight. He's terrified. Because loving someone means losing them, and Anthony has already lost too much. Let's break down his control issues. Anthony micromanages everything. Who his siblings marry, where they go, what they do. And it seems overbearing, cruel even, but psychologically it makes perfect sense. Control is Anthony's way of preventing loss. If he controls every variable, maybe nothing bad will happen. If he vets every suitor, maybe his sisters won't marry dangerous men. If he knows where everyone is at all times, maybe they won't die suddenly like his father. But control doesn't stop death. It just stops living. And Anthony has been so busy protecting his family that he forgot how to be a person. He forgot how to want things, to feel things, to hope for things. Because hope is dangerous. Hope means vulnerability, and vulnerability means pain. So Anthony chooses numbness. He chooses duty over desire, responsibility over happiness, and he tells himself that's noble. But it's not noble. It's self-sacrifice to the point of self-destruction. Now let's talk about season 2. Anthony decides it's time to marry. Not for love, but for duty. He needs an heir, a wife who meets society's standards, someone rational, practical, unemotional. He creates a list of requirements. No love, no passion, no risk. And he chooses Edwina Sharma, the perfect diamond, beautiful, agreeable, safe. But then he meets Kate, Edwina's older sister, and everything Anthony has been avoiding comes crashing down, because Kate is the opposite of safe. She challenges him, argues with him, sees through his walls, and Anthony is furious, because Kate makes him feel, and feeling is the one thing Anthony has spent his entire life avoiding. But he can't stop. Every time he's near Kate, his control slips, his walls crack, his fear becomes transparent, and Kate sees it. She sees that Anthony isn't cold. He's scared, that he's not controlling. He's drowning, that he's not refusing to love. He's terrified of it. And that recognition that being truly seen breaks Anthony completely. Let's talk about the bee scene, one of the most important scenes in the series. Anthony is stung by a bee, and he has a full panic attack. He can't breathe. He's frozen, reliving his father's death. And Kate is the one who grounds him. She doesn't tell him to calm down. She doesn't dismiss his fear. She validates it. She says, "I'm here. You're safe." And for the first time in his life, Anthony lets someone take care of him. He doesn't have to be strong. He doesn't have to be in control. He can just be scared, and someone will hold him through it. That moment is Anthony's breakthrough, because his entire identity is built on being the protector, the strong one, the one who never needs help. But Kate shows him that needing help doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And Anthony has been so busy being the Viscount that he forgot he's allowed to be human. Now here's the psychological core of Anthony's arc. He believes he's going to die young. He's convinced he won't live past the age his father died. And because of that belief, he's been preparing his entire life to leave. He chose a loveless marriage so his wife wouldn't grieve. He kept emotional distance from his siblings so losing him would hurt less. He refused to pursue Kate because loving her and leaving her would be cruel. But here's the truth. Anthony isn't protecting people from loss. He's robbing them of connection. Because yes, people die. Yes, love ends. Yes, loss is inevitable. But closing yourself off to love doesn't prevent pain. It just prevents joy. And Anthony has been so focused on avoiding his father's fate that he's not living at all. He's existing, surviving, managing. But he's not alive. And Kate sees that. She tells him, "You're so busy preparing to die that you've forgotten to live." And that's the wake-up call Anthony needs. Because his father didn't die tragically because he loved too much. He died doing what he loved, playing with his son, being present, living fully. And if Anthony is going to honor his father's memory, he can't do it by hiding from life. He has to embrace it. Even if it's scary, even if it ends, even if love means risking loss. So Anthony chooses Kate, not the safe choice, not the rational choice, but the real choice, the one that makes him feel alive. And yes, it terrifies him. Yes, he still has panic attacks. Yes, he still struggles with control. But he's trying. He's letting someone in. He's choosing love over fear. And that's growth. That's healing. Not perfect healing, but real healing. Here's the truth about Anthony Bridgerton. He's not the overbearing eldest son. He's the traumatized child who never got to grieve, who was forced to be strong before he knew what strength meant, who carried a family on his back when he should have been carried. And parentification doesn't just steal your childhood. It steals your ability to believe you deserve care. Because when you spend your whole life taking care of others, you forget that you need care too. Anthony spent 20 years believing his needs didn't matter, that his feelings were selfish, that his fear was weakness. But Kate teaches him that his needs do matter, that his feelings are valid, that his fear is human. And maybe, just maybe, he doesn't have to die young like his father. Maybe he can live, fully, messily, imperfectly, but alive. And that's the greatest act of courage, not being fearless, but being afraid and loving anyway.